The lighting in this room is awful. Like, do you even realize how much maneuvering I had to do to like get this angle? Like, the phone is literally balanced on my pencil holder, which is on top of 3 books and a suitcase. Anyways, we came on here, as in me and the voices in my head, came on here to yap about all the books I've read so far after the video I did. I think I filmed it in like August. I don't know how many books I read since then, but I read quite a few. We're gonna talk about the books I've read and the books I'm in the middle of reading and the books I hope I'm able to read by the end of the year, because we have like 2 whole months left and it's like the near end of October. So there's some books I want to like make progress on, both for my TBR, like my physical TBR, and like my ebooks, because that's where I usually read books. Physical books are more like the ones like you want to really pay attention to the prose. That's why I pick physical books. Otherwise, all genre books I usually read digitally. I have difficulty saying words that start with D for some reason, like development, digitally, dictionary is fine. I think if there's too many syllables in a word that starts with D, I don't know why I have problems saying it. Anyways, so the books I've read, what was the last book I talked about in my last video? I think it might have been Since You've Been Gone. Yeah, so since then I've read 4 whole books. So the first one was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Graphics here. And I thought it was decent. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, but a lot of world building, a lot of exposition, which turns, yeah, it's not good. It turned me off. But I was a really big fan of Orion and Elle's relationship. It was really cute. And I really did like the whole sequence with the mom out, because it had really good writing. And yeah, we loved The Deadly Education, except yeah, I gave it 3 out of 5 because too much exposition. Yeah, info dumpy. It was kind of giving me a headache. I finished in like a single day. Yeah. The book I read after that was The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I ran to a what's wrong with my mouth? I ran to a Barnes and Nobles to buy it, because I was like, I have free will and the money, so why can't I buy it? So I went there on a whim. I knew nothing about this book except that it was a romance, and I was like, oh, I want to read it, because Red, White, and Royal Blue, favorite book of all time, one of my favorite book of all time, comfort book. Yeah, so I was like, The Pairing, because I've been hearing like mixed reviews about like I Kissed Cheryl Wheeler and One Last Stop. So I was like, you know what, I want to give The Pairing a chance, because we love bisexual people. So I did read it. 10 out of 10, honestly. 5 out of 5. It's like on the same level as Red, White, and Royal Blue for me, because Casey McQuiston, she knows how to write romance. I loved it. So 5 out of 5. The next book I read was one I'd been hearing a lot about, just from being on like book 2 for a couple years. I think this was like really popular in general as well. So I think it's considered a classic at this point. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Allaire. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Sayens? Benjamin Allaire Sayens, sir. Okay. I think it was really easy to get through, because the chapters are so tiny and the prose is easy to read, but also quite beautiful, honestly. And I think I finished this one within like 8-9 hours. And I liked the way the relationships between the characters were portrayed, especially the families, because I loved, even though the book is set in the 80s, I loved how the mom and dad of both Ari and Dante were so supportive of them, and they were like different from each other, but they like came through for their kids in their own way, and I was really a big fan of that. So 4 out of 5, really nice. I don't know, I forgot. Yeah, I just didn't like one thing about it, and I don't remember what that thing was, because whenever I binge something, I forget. So yeah. The latest book I've read was Uprooted by Naomi Novik, another Naomi Novik book. This one I was held at gunpoint to read, but I enjoyed it quite much. I started this book sometime in September, like September 12, 13, and I finished it on 10th October, because I read it on like a 13-hour flight and was very sleep deprived. I was burned out, so I got to like almost 50% and I stopped reading it, and then I just recently finished it like a couple of weeks ago. This was also a 3 out of 5. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. The prose, beautiful. I also liked the world building, but I think there was like pacing issues in the middle, and I think the ending, especially with like the wood, it was kind of rushed, and I think we could have done a little more expansion on like the wood people and stuff, because I very much liked the eldritch horror stuff that was going on, but then that eldritch horror element was sort of turned into this tragic backstory thing, which kind of messed with the thing. Like, this was supposed to be man against nature, not man against man-made monster. That's what it felt like to me. Please be kind. I have developing literacy rates. I'm not very good at critical thinking. I'm trying to be good at critical thinking. I have better at critical thinking than most people my age, at least where I live. Okay, why am I suddenly shitting on people? So yeah, I liked Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and that was the latest of what I've read. And the books that I'm in the middle of right now is the first one goes all the way back to May that I started, but then I never finished it. I'm still stuck at 50%, which is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna finish reading this. I want to DNF this book so bad, but I have a bad habit of wanting to continue reading books, like to see it through to the end so I don't potentially miss anything. So yeah, that's one problem. Boyfriend Material. I'm probably gonna give it a very low rating, but I need to finish reading this. The second one is The Last Graduate, which is the sequel to Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Also 55%. I think I was enjoying it, but then again, it's very exposition heavy. It kind of reads like fan fiction. Fan fiction is in the sense, you know, those fics that like build upon the lore. Like if it's a Naruto, I'm reading a long Naruto fic, and it's like a self-insert OC fic, they suddenly start building upon lore and injecting their own ideas into it, and it's like a whole paragraph of info dump exposition, like new mechanics and everything. It's that, but with not a pre-established world in the world of a dead scholomance, and it kind of throws you for a little bit, like puts your too much brain energy. I think I'm losing my yapping power right now. And the last book that I'm in the middle of is the sequel to Aristotle and Dante, which is called Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World. I'm enjoying this sequel in the sense that I like seeing the expansion of the relationship from the last book. But honestly, no, there is no caveat to this. I was enjoying this book. I stopped reading it because, honestly, why did I stop reading it? See, I do this thing where if I binge a book and then I immediately dive into the sequel the next day, I'm burned out. I go really slowly through that sequel, like a Deadly Education, read it in one day, then I started The Last Graduate right after. So I'm in the middle of that. Aristotle and Dante, read it in one day, next day started the sequel, stuck in the middle, burned out. So that's a problem. And the next books I was hoping to read was this actually. This is so fall. This is so fall. Like, look at this. I love this. I bought it because I can. It was in my TBR, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna buy this. I love using books without their dust jacket. Look at that. Is this an anagram for Batman? Like, look at that. Can you see it? BANTM. That's very funny. Interesting coincidence. You know what? I'm hoping to get through my entire currently reading just so I can read this book. Because this fascinates me so much. It's like dark academia. And I love that. So, this is definitely something I want to read with a candle. I want to read this in winter because I have a candle from Bath and Body. And I want to burn it while I read it, but I cannot burn it in the current climate of Vermont because the ceiling fan is on 24/7. It gets really hot and humid, and I need to burn the candle when the ceiling fan is off, which cannot happen until the winter. So yeah, this book. And also my friend has been bullying me to read this, and honestly I'm a little scared to read it. Kite Runner. I just bought this the other day. She cried reading this. I think I'm gonna cry reading this. It's supposed to be a very sad book, and I'm looking forward to it. So those are the 2 books I'm hoping to read by the end of the year. I think reading these 5 books is gonna complete my Goodreads reading challenge for the year, which was 25 books. Currently I'm at 20 books right now, but technically it's 19 because I was reading Gone Girl last year and I completed like 90% of it, but I finished it in January. So technically I only read like 10% of Gone Girl this year, but it's counted in the reading goal, like in Goodreads. So if I exclude that, it's gonna be I've read 19 out of 25 books this year. So these 5 books plus 1 more book, I am gonna stop reading series. Maybe I'll complete one of the mini series I have. Because I'm in the middle of like 12 series. So I might complete like Gleanings, maybe a Good Girls Guide book. I only read book 1, so I have book 2 in my hands and book 3 as well. And yeah, a new book is coming out in the Truly Devious series, which I'm excited about because I love Stevie Bell and I need to see what comes out of David, what's his name, Eastman. I need to see what happens to him because I dropped my phone. So yeah, so I need to see what happens to David Eastman because I read the summary of the latest book that's gonna come out. It's gonna come out like next year, I think. Was he like embroiled in a cult accidentally? Why would he cheat on Stevie? Like that's awful. Anyways, what am I doing? Yeah, I've run out of yapping power, so I'm gonna go.